Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the way you think about money, success, and status isn't actually yours, that it was written for you, programmed by culture, by music, by images you consume every single day. Imagine discovering that millions of people are chasing money, not for freedom, not for security, but for validation, for identity, for the feeling of being seen. That realization alone should make you uncomfortable. Because today, we're not just talking about a song, we're talking about how money has been redefined in modern culture and how that definition quietly shapes your financial life. This is ATM by Don Toliver. On the surface, it sounds like another high-energy track. Heavy bass, luxury imagery, movement, speed, chaos. But underneath that sound, there's a message most people never stop to question. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. When ATM was released ahead of Don Toliver's album Octane, it wasn't positioned as a financial statement. It was positioned as a feeling, a vibe, a rush. The music video reinforces that energy. Fast cuts, cinematic visuals, movement without rest. Everything feels immediate, urgent, almost addictive. And that's important because the way money is presented in culture today isn't slow, patient, or strategic. It's fast, liquid, always available, just like an ATM. The title itself is a symbol. An ATM is not about saving, it's not about building, it's about access, instant access. In music and street culture, ATM often represents money that's ready to be spent. Money that flows in and out without resistance. Money that exists to fuel experience, lifestyle, and image. And that's the first financial lesson hiding in plain sight. Money is no longer framed as a tool for long-term stability. It's framed as fuel for the moment. When you listen closely to ATM, the lyrics move through images of keys, cars, homes, late nights, impulsive decisions. Money is everywhere in the background, not as a goal, but as an assumption. It's just there, and that assumption is dangerous. Because when money feels automatic, when access feels endless, the brain stops respecting limits. Psychologically, this matters more than most people realize. Human behavior with money is driven far more by emotion than logic. And culture teaches emotion long before it teaches discipline. Songs like ATM don't tell you how to budget. They don't tell you how to invest. But they do teach your subconscious what money is for. And right now, culture is teaching that money exists to be spent, to be displayed, to be felt. That creates a very specific mindset, a mindset where spending feels like success, where image feels like progress, where movement feels like growth, even when nothing is being built underneath. Economists have a name for this behavior. It's called conspicuous consumption. Spending not to improve your life, but to signal status, to show that you belong, to prove something, often to people who aren't even watching. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You can make good money and still be trapped in that cycle. You can earn more than average and still live paycheck to paycheck because your relationship with money is emotional, not intentional. That's why so many people feel financially exhausted even when they're earning more than ever before. They're running faster, not smarter. Music like ATM resonates because it captures that feeling perfectly. The rush, the speed, the illusion of control. But feelings are not financial strategies. Money doesn't care how you feel. It responds to structure, discipline, clarity. When money becomes part of your identity, it gains power over you. Your spending becomes reactive. Your goals become blurry. Your satisfaction becomes temporary. Real wealth operates differently, quietly. It treats money as a tool, not a trophy, as leverage, not validation, as something to be directed, not something to chase. That's the lesson most people never learn, and that's why analyzing culture matters. Not to criticize the art, not to attack the artist, but to understand what ideas are being absorbed unconsciously. Because before money ever shows up in your bank account, it shows up in your mind. And if your mind associates money with image, excitement, and instant reward, Your financial future will reflect that. So the real takeaway from ATM isn't about Don Toliver. It's about awareness. Awareness of how culture frames money. Awareness of how emotion drives spending. Awareness of how easily we confuse motion with progress. Once you understand that, you stop reacting. You start choosing. And that's where real financial control begins. This is the money lesson. Because money isn't just math. It's psychology. It's behavior. And the moment you understand that, you stop playing the game blindly.